Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He's Bill Rice Jr. and a beautiful day outside, overcast, cool.
Well, is it a beautiful when it's overcast? Yeah.
I like overcast weather, but at the same time, I like the idea that folks can get out and get all the yard work done before noon, and it's still fairly cool.
That's a good point. I need to cut my grass. And I need to do it today, but I'm not going to do it today.
Alabama gets beat, ladies and gentlemen. The Crimson Tide of Alabama put up a good show, but that was all.
Well, for the first two games they did, and then they put up a bad show after that.
And they played before a huge crowd there in Oklahoma City, and they came out cold, and they stayed cold, didn't they?
I can't watch it. It's too stressful for me, so I checked the scores on the internet, and it just, I don't know. They got Montana Fouts throws a perfect game in the game before, and then they shell her and get to her in this game. Alabama lost 8-5. That's the only details I know. I think Alabama was behind, and our Alabama's star pitcher, just had a bad day, but they wouldn't have been there without her. And they won the SEC tournament, which is good. They made it to the College World Series, which is good. So they didn't win the national championship, but all things considered, a very, very good season. Kind of like the Alabama basketball team.
Oh, yeah.
You started thinking, well, heck, we might make the Final Four, but they didn't. But still, they won the SEC regular season. They won the conference tournament, and they got back to the Sweet 16 and had a good showing. They lost in overtime.
And of course, as I flip my pages around, I don't even care that the Braves beat the Dodgers 4-2.
No.
But a lot of folks out there, and I'm proud of you, are die-hard Atlanta Braves fans. They love it. They watch it.
I keep up a little bit with what's his name, Darby Swanson.
Yeah, that's right.
Because his daddy and mama went to Troy.
Sure did.
And he's having a good year. I think he's hitting a lot of home runs.
He's a great player for Atlanta. And but now let's see, they're on the road for 6, 7 ball games, so they better be on their toes in this. But
I've been reading your Alabama Sports Hall of Fame magazine you loaned me, and there are a lot of people, especially in the early years of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, who were baseball players from the state of Alabama.
Oh, yeah, that's
early
right.
Baseball players that played with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio. You've talked about the Wren guy from Hartford, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, that's right. Early Wren and was a Hall of Fame pitcher from Hartford, Alabama.
But it's it's funny. I don't keep up with baseball at all today. I'm like a lot of people. I used to just live and die with the Braves and watched every game. But I am interested in the history of baseball, and so I'm enjoying reading about these old-time baseball players and the numbers they put up. And,
I'm looking at
baseball was, and maybe it definitely was America's pastime. I mean, you grew up, you collected baseball cards. You could name the starting lineups of every team in the major leagues, probably.
That's right. And I was fixing to say that. I look at these rosters here of all these teams in the paper, and it gives you good information. And I like this. They give you not only they give you the batting averages, they give the pitcher's ERA and so forth. But if you wanted me to name a starting lineup, say the Cleveland Indians, I could probably do.
How did you learn it? Because there weren't any TV games and there weren't any radio games.
But my daddy always brought in the Montgomery Advertiser for me to read, and I just read the box scores and kept up with all the like for Pittsburgh. I would have. Kept out Bob Friend, a pitcher for Pittsburgh.
I did that too.
Mazeroski was one of my favorite players.
I would check my favorite players in the box scores. They might be like Butch Hobson. How did he do? And now former Alabama player. But then my favorite Braves and the stars. I would go and see. Did they go 3 for 4? Rod Carew, when he was chasing 400, you know, you would check him.
Just quickly, you know, the Cubs, you know, you had Ernie Banks, the shortstop. Your third baseman was, maybe I shouldn't go there.
No, don't.
But, you know, of course, you know, they all of them had star players, and they.
Guten Morgen.
We've got a German. Yeah, there we go. This German next to us, Michael, is giving us a hard time this morning.
Ein gut Bier. That's my other German I know. One good beer.
Had people down the street doing the tomahawk chop last night as the Florida State Seminoles upset Alabama in the college World Series up in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I know it.
I had a bad feeling about that, but I was telling your dad, I kept up with it on the internet. It's too nerve wracking for me to watch. Was it as bad as it seems in the final score?
Well, I mean, the shocking thing was Fouts got, you know, hit so hard. You know, she just pitched the perfect game, and I think she gave up a 3-run homer in the first, and then in the second maybe gave up another run, and just couldn't, you know, location was off, spotting her fastball and her rise ball, and Florida State doesn't really have a whole lot of great hitters average-wise, but man, they really hit her hard last night. And Alabama scored 5 runs, gave themselves a chance, but shocking loss when you get to the semifinals, and all you got to do is win one game, and
can't do it.
Get shut out in the first one, and get beat 8-5 in the second. Patrick Murphy, he can get you to the big dance, but he gets you to the World Series, but has a hard time winning once he gets there.
That's the bottom line. You're right. So I think
Arizona
that's four.
Arizona job just came open, and the coach there won 8 national championships. The winningest coach all time in softball history, so that's going to be a big time job, whoever gets that.
Ooh, 8 national championships.
I know, that's right.
You know how many Nick Saban has?
7.
Well, you think he can get 8? Then I was thinking he had a great recruiting year last year, and I bet he has a good one this year. And he just signed a contract extension to get him to age 77. You know, there's an outside chance that Coach Saban could get 10 national championships, which would, I don't know how many John Wooden had, but he'd be getting close.
Yeah, you know, we were joking a few years ago. They signed to play, I think, West Virginia in 2026 and 2027. I said, oh, well, Saban will never be there to possibly coach against Neil Brown. Looks like that might happen.
Hey, I believe he'll be there. Mm-hmm. This guy, he's obsessed with his job, and rightfully so, I reckon.
Well, you know,
well, I mean, it's almost like if you're an NFL coach, you get 1 first-round pick. Saban gets about 7 or 8 first-round picks every year in recruiting.
You know, that's what he figured out a long time ago, that in college you can control your destiny a little more because you can recruit. In the NFL, they only give you 6 draft picks, and that's all you got.
Yeah. Tell me about South Alabama. I believe they got beat. Is that right? Somebody said that South Florida beat them. Is that in the regional final?
Yeah. South Alabama won the first game 4-0 and shut them out. I think that game was suspended due to weather. So they came back and finished that game yesterday, and then unfortunately for South Alabama fans, they were 1 game away from going to the regional, super regional, and South Florida beat them yesterday, 6-4.
Yeah, they had a kid on that team name was Jarrett Eaton, and he just tore the ball. You know, he something like 4 hits and then knocked in about 4 runs, and he really had a big game. Ole Miss won, and they are evidently they're in the super regional today against you know they beat
Arkansas won last night against Nebraska. I'm not sure LSU was playing late against Oregon. Mississippi State's in it.
The
SEC teams are in right now.
Boy, the SEC is really doing well in baseball this year. No question about it. Of course, Ole Miss, you and I have been over there, that ballpark and everything. Very, very nice facility over there. And,
it's an awesome place to see a game.
You know,
whatever you do, don't go through the woods and the country to go to Tunica there late at night. After the game.
You don't need to be going to Tunica anyway.
I've never been to Tunica.
Yeah, well, we've been too many times.
You don't need to go.
We've been too many times.
I finally went to Biloxi 2 years ago for the first time ever. I'd driven through it.
But at the same time, you know, I don't know how anybody can keep these folks from playing, you know, the slot machines or whatever. You know, everybody else is doing it. Why should Alabama be different?
That's the trend, isn't it? Gosh, I mean, for all of our lives, it was just Las Vegas that had gambling, and then I guess Atlantic City, and then now, who doesn't have it? It's just the same with the lotteries. Same with legalization of marijuana. You know, that would have if I would have told you, Mike, 20 years ago that all these states are going to legalize marijuana, you would have said what?
Yeah.
Bunk, no way. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Now it's I think 19 states have done it.
You know, I want to mention this morning, that the Charles Henderson High School valedictorian is Ashlyn Shaver of Troy, and of course Ashlyn is the valedictorian for Charles Henderson High School for 2021, and she did it with a 4.5 ERA, and also a
ERA.
No, excuse me. It's a GPA, and
that wouldn't.
A 4.5 ERA wouldn't be that great.
But a GPA is out of this world.
All right, well, y'all but she was let me tell you what, she's the granddaughter of Larry Shaver, the late great Larry Shaver. I had to play football with, but boy, he used to rattle my head every day. He was a senior and I was a sophomore. And buddy, he was a great linebacker at Charles Henderson. But then her dad, Larry Shaver, and I know that.
I think he played football too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a good player too. Good player. He's no longer with us, but he was a good player, no question. The salutatorian was Carson Smith. Is one of the two salutatorian. And Mary Stoltz, and
that must be Holly's daughter. That's Mayor Lunsford's granddaughter.
That's right. I bet.
Who won the Mike Amos scholarship?
I don't know, but
Your daughter started.
Well, this Ashlyn Shaver won one of them. There were two of them given away, and Ashlyn Shaver was one of them. But one of them, the valedictorian is going to Troy, thank goodness, and the salutatorian, Carson Smith, is going to Auburn, and Mary Stokes is going to UAB. So congratulations to those folks. And also, as we thumb through, and this is a great deal that the Messenger does. All of these pictures in color, and every senior is recognized. And boy, Charles Henderson had a bunch of them. We're getting over here to the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots, and their valedictorian is Addie Garrett. I watched her grow up. You did too, Mike. And she is the valedictorian at Pike.
Brad Garrett's daughter.
That's right. And the salutatorian is Morgan Bundy. Boy, what a sweet girl she is. And her mama is a good friend of mine. And congratulations to Morgan. Morgan, let's see where these girls are going to school. Well, shoot. Addie's going to Auburn. And Morgan is going to Troy. Yes, sir. Going to be a Trojan, and then of course it's a good look at all the Pike Liberal Arts graduates, and it's in color. And
I think that might be the biggest graduating class in history at Pike Liberal Arts. We need to.
No, I think so. No question about it.
I heard somebody told me 49, but we need to count them up.
Let's see if we counted them up.
Well, let's see that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
42
1, 2, 3,
here.
4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 48, 49.
49 graduates at Pike Liberal Arts, and a good-looking group of
I
kids.
wish I could figure out what that would be compared to the 1A or 2A school.
Yeah. All right, Goshen High School valedictorian and salutatorian. Brady Barr is the valedictorian from Goshen High School, and the salutatorian is Tessa Sewell of Goshen, and congratulations to her. And these guys are going. Hey, he's going to go to Troy, and she is going to go to Troy. Thank goodness both of those girls, Brady
graduates now,
Barr and Tessa Sewell, both. So the valedictorian.
That took a lot of discipline and hard work for a long time to be valedictorian or salutatorian.
Boy, that's a good-looking group of Goshen Eagles right there, too.
Yeah.
Good-looking group of Goshen Eagles.
Can you count them up? Let's see.
Yeah, you can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm using math. That's 7 times 9 is 63 plus 1 is 64 graduates at Goshen High School.
Who taught you how to add and subtract?
My multiplication tables for 7 are easy because that's a touchdown and an extra point. And then when I was learning them, it was Alabama was beating everybody 49-0. You know, I just knew that was 7 touchdowns.
The valedictorian from Pike County High
So
School.
they're a 3A school.
Yeah.
What did I say? They had 64. So Pike Liberal Arts 49, Goshen 64.
The Goshen Eagles graduated a good class, and the Pike County High School Bulldogs. The valedictorian is Katie Kuritz, and the salutatorium is Abigail Brooks, and she's the salutatorian. So 2 beautiful girls from Pike County High School, and here's a good group of kids from Pike County High School.
Let me count them up.
The most innovative school system in the state of Alabama.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 56, 8, 9, 10, 70, 71.
You know, I said that. I said the most innovative school system in Alabama. And do you know, if you went to this school, if you went to Pike County High School, you could actually study to be an airplane pilot.
I know it. That? Yeah, they are. They
a
have
lot of other things.
Great STEM programs and business programs and career. They're kind of these career academies. But
Again, it's a good-looking group of kids in Pike County, and of course, the back of this document is Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks.
We need to promote that. If you want to go check out their car inventory, just go to premiertroy.com.
That's right, and of course, my good friend Jason Gregory, and we talked about it yesterday, where he gave Pike Liberal Arts $25,000 to start their fundraising effort to build a new park. I mean, a playground park.
And that is so important for the kids. That's great.
Especially the young kids.
Yeah,
and he has 3 young kids, and they're sweethearts.
Troy Elementary School just got a new one in the last year or so that is really nice.
Nothing's more important.
And I'm into playgrounds because my kids love playgrounds, and they either go to Murphy Park or they go to the rec center playground.
Here's your college baseball wrap-up yesterday. Mississippi State advanced to the Super Regionals. They beat the Campbell Camels. the Campbell Camels. Troy used to be in the same conference as them.
Right, nobody would have ever heard of them unless they didn't play baseball,
6-5, and then Oregon State lost to a school called Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist made.
Are you serious? Oh man, isn't that
Dallas
unreal?
Baptist?
No,
only in baseball.
I hadn't until you said it right there.
They're really good in baseball every year. Arkansas beat Nebraska 6-2. They're in the Super Regionals. LSU came back and won 2 games against Oregon at the Oregon Regional. So LSU advanced to the Super Regional. 9-8, they won last night. So big win for LSU. We missed in South Alabama won the first game 4-0 over South Florida, but lost the second game 6-4. So South Alabama's out. Then Ole Miss won a high-scoring game against Southern Miss yesterday, 12-9. They made the regionals, and then late last night, Stanford beat UC Irvine 11-8, and Stanford advances.
Well, we keep talking about if Troy's going to make a national splash, run for a national championship in Division I, it's going to be in baseball. I mean, we just mentioned Dallas Baptist is going to a super regional. South Alabama, I mean, was this close from going to a super regional. There was another mid-major team you named in there, several that could have done it. So, you know, in baseball, if you got two good pitchers and a couple good hitters, you can go all the way.
The word is exposure, exposure, exposure today on our show, and that's exactly what South Alabama's done. People are recognizing them as one of the top baseball programs in the country, and congratulations to their program. And I don't particularly like them. I don't particularly like them. I like Troy.
But didn't Troy beat South Alabama?
Oh yeah, they beat them. Oh yeah, Troy played with them. There's no question about it. But
the losers bracket, though, it's hard to come back. They lose that first game, and then they beat Florida 19-1, who's the host school.
Yeah, boy,
beat Miami 7-2, beat South Florida 4-0, and then that last game, you can't get over the hump.
You just look at how they recruit, all the way to Panama City, all the way to Biloxi. Mm-hmm. They can go right there and start back and go forward. They get as good a baseball talent as you find anywhere.
I'm reading your Hall of Fame magazine. I'm researching all the honorees, and I was reading up on Eddie Sankey, that I remember being the longtime coach at South Alabama baseball. Kind of put him on the map, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know that he was such a good Major League Baseball player himself before that. So that must be why my mom was interested in going to those South Alabama baseball games when we lived in Mobile, because Eddie Sankey was a star Major League Baseball player before he became the coach at South Alabama.
Well,
Troy, by the way, Troy baseball team lost all 3 games to South Alabama this year.
Oh yeah, okay. So South Alabama's tough now. They really are.
Well,
good.
Troy was in position to get the number 2 seed in this tournament before those last 3 losses at the end of the year, and I think it's South Alabama that moved up ahead.
You look at recruiting, and
Coach Smart, started a guy against Arkansas State that was like their 3rd or 4th starter, maybe 5th starter, instead of pitching one of their aces. I'm sure he regrets that now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he knows that. you were able to tell him, I'm sure. But looking at Saban, Mike, he's going to be the first $10 million man. They're fixing to pay him.
He already hit the $10 million.
But all right, well now it's going to be $11.1 million. He signed in 2017.
He's worth every penny.
Oh yeah. If you're gonna pay a coach a lot of money, he's the one to pay it to.
You know what? I've been doing my research. Y'all know I love my sports research, and Saban is getting ready to start his 14th or 15th year at Alabama.
Yeah.
You know who he's going to pass for on the longevity list? Coaches at Alabama. Frank Thomas, Hall of Fame coach. That won a couple national championships. It was Coach Bryant's and Don Hudson's coach. Saban has been in Alabama longer than anybody except Paul Bryant. And you remember when he came to Alabama, all the pundits, what did they say? Oh, he'll be there for 3 or 4 years and then he'll be gone.
Yeah.
Wrong.
That's right. Wrong.
Saban's overall record is 256, 65-1. You got to think that he's probably got a really realistic chance to break Bryant's win record too.
That's a good point too. There, I was thinking, can he get 300, which seems like a layup. If he just coaches 3 or 4 more years. But yeah, how many did Coach Bryant end up with?
323. So if Saban wins 10 games, which he averages over 10 wins a season, I think he averages over 11.
Yeah.
But if you do that times 7, that would get him really close.
Wow. The superlatives of Coach Saban are just.
So basically, he needs 44 more to get to 300. Then after that, he would need 23. So with my math, that would be, 67 wins?
You know, this year, Alabama's got a good chance of opening the season number 1. If they are ranked in the AP poll number 1, that would be 14 years in a row Alabama was number 1 in the season at some point. And, you know, Alabama's won 6 of the last 12 national championships. What's amazing to me that if you go back the year before that 2009 championship, 2008, Alabama was in the running for that until they lost to Florida in the SEC title game. But I think every year except for 2010, Alabama was in the running for a national championship going into the last game of the year, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always in contention. It's like a golfer that's always on the leaderboard on the final 4 or 5 holes of a major.
Looks like Auburn got a couple of more players. Let me tell you this, he is slowly but surely stocking up on football players. Look out. I'm just saying this right here so all of you can hear me. Auburn going to have a very good year. There's no question in my mind.
Well,
Saban's record at Alabama is 165 and 23. That's an 8.78 winning percentage.
That is phenomenal.
Oh,
it sure is.
He's 69 right now. He'll turn 70 on Halloween, October 31st. So that would put him at 76 if he finishes the contract.
All right, but what's his? He doesn't look like he has a chance of catching anybody for the most wins ever. Is that right?
Well, I mean, Paterno and Bowden lost several, victories.
They took it away from him.
I don't know what the actual total is now for us winning this, coach. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they reinstated some of those Penn State losses. First, they took away a ton of losses, victories, and then that was not fair.
Let me just tell you, you look at Saban and everybody admires him and admires him. Of course, he's a great coach and all that. But I'll tell you this for a fact: he is not the sweetest guy in America. I promise you. I'll say it again. He is not the sweetest guy in America. Hey, that's why you see new people on his staff each year. They almost
they can take it for about 1 or 2 years, and that's it.
That's right. They can take it. I want to hear it again. What'd you say now?
They can take it for about 1 or 2 years, and then they say that's it.
That is the truth. That is the truth, and I know a little bit about it, and I'm going to tell you this now. People still give me a hard time. Said, "Oh, Saban doesn't smoke." Let me tell you something. His next door neighbor says he smokes a cigar.
Who cares if he?
I know it. Who cares? Who cares if he smokes a cigar?
I think he chews tobacco too.
Yeah, he does chew a little tobacco. Most all of them did.
All these coaches do.
Here's your win total all time. Amos Alonzo Staggs. I don't know if we're related, Dad. Are we related to Amos Alonzo Staggs?
No, sir. I don't think so. But he's a great coach. Great coach. Go ahead.
Pop Warner won 311.
Yes.
Bill's favorite coach still over Saban. Paul Bear Bryant won 323.
Thank you. Well, I think it's close. It's not as definitive as everybody says.
Bobby Bowden won 357.
Yeah. Doesn't he count some of those victories at Sanford and
11 victories vacated.
All right. So he got
He actually won 357, but he had 11 victories vacated due to NCAA.
Oh, okay.
Are all those Division I victories?
No, that counts Howard as well.
See, I mean, if he counted just Division I big-time college football, he wouldn't have 353. All right, but I still love Coach Bowden, so that's okay.
I do too. He's a great guy.
Then Joe Paterno's wins have gone back to 409, so that'll probably never be broken.
Yeah.
409.
Oh boy, you're right. And everything.
Rightly or wrongly, Paterno is back on top of the all-time standings when it comes to football wins at the NCAA level. Previously, he's been swamped by Bowden at least once. Distinctions have hit Penn State. So now he is officially back to being the all-time winningest coach.
Yeah. Well,
that's good
more power
info,
to
Michael.
him. That's right. He stayed at Mississippi, and he did it at one school. That was an amazing thing, didn't he?
He sure did.
I'm on Zoom if Steve wants to put me on.
If Steve wants to put Mike on Zoom, we want to see his pretty face this morning. Of course, the show is brought to you by Trojan Auto Parts, Mike Kilcrease, and a great bunch of guys down there. And I tell you, let's just say you needed a battery on your car.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull up. They'll check your battery. If you need a battery, they'll remove your old battery and give you a new battery.
Awesome.
And a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
And so anybody that has battery problems,
This
the
is
best
not.
way
This
to go is to go in, pull in, let them check the battery out, see if it's any good. If it's not any good, they'll replace it.
locally owned, and they care about their customers. So.
That's right. Of course, they're great people too. Want to mention also Sisters Restaurant. Sisters, and everybody said
I love the way you enunciate certain businesses.
I'll say this. Some people say, let's go eat at Sisters. And then some people say, let's go eat at Slaughter's.
And you're the latter.
Yeah, how many old Southern girls would say Slaughter's? My wife would probably say Slaughter's.
I got you. Yeah, let's go to this. I can't do it.
It is a great place to eat. And, you know, they don't have the buffet anymore, but they don't need the buffet. They feed you very good with your meat and three. And I've told you yesterday, and I'll tell you again. The best shrimp you can buy anywhere, cooked to perfection, is at Sisters. That's better than any place, even in Florida. Their shrimp is better than anything.
And don't you
I've
think a
eaten
lot
in
of people going back and forth to Florida have discovered Sisters by now?
And you pay $10.95 for it. That's another thing, you know, right here in Troy.
Down in Florida, that'd be about $20.99.
Yeah. And let me ask y'all this. What kind of potatoes, French fried potatoes, do y'all like? I like mine ruffles. I like the ruffled potatoes. What?
Crinkle fries.
I like crinkle fries.
Well, what is it that I like? It's ruffle.
You like crinkled?
Yeah, that's right.
Crinkled at the same time.
I like crinkle too. I like it's good. You're right.
Hey, did we confirm if
Yeah,
Hardee's
that with your friends.
was Hardee's leaving, or was that just a rumor? Or are we floating rumors?
I don't know.
Talking about French fries.
I sure heard something, but I appreciate somebody calling in and letting me know.
But
I
there's
tell you what, I stop anytime I see a Hardee's off the interstate or anywhere for breakfast. Still my favorite biscuit.
Yeah. Well, it is a great place about
Well,
it. If they didn't have their breakfast menu, I don't know if they could stay open. I really don't.
Well, who has the best French fries for fast food restaurants? I mean, a lot of people say McDonald's.
Probably Chick-fil-A, waffle fries, I like a lot.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. What would I say?
I like
A lot of people like McDonald's.
I like McDonald's over Hardee's, and you know Wendy's has different French fries. They're thicker French fries.
Well, let's look at our bypass and see what's happening. One thing's happening is Church's Chicken will be opening soon. So, we get more and more chicken places, and you know, old Goldfinger sits out there next to Publix, and they're really got a great chicken, and their French fries are really good. They're real good. We got a call coming in. Let's see who this is. You got it, buddy.
Wait, hold on, give me one more.
You had it. Okay.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, it's Will Matthews. How you doing this morning?
Hello, William.
Will Matthews calling from a great city of Ozark, Alabama. I don't care what they say. I know this. I got a lot of friends live in Ozark, and they're awfully proud of it. You know, hey, you know, if you're living comfortably, you don't have to worry about anybody else, you know?
Yeah.
Well, here's the Ozark and Troy, about the exact same population forever. I think Troy's got more now. But the same, and they're both on Highway 231, both old southern cities. Ozark depends on the military base and Troy on the college.
And this is a good question, good questions. All right, how was it to meet a guy that their daddy was in the military and he went to Carroll High School, and in 2 years he was gone and you never saw him again, ever? Did you have a lot of friendships like that, Will? That they were here one day and gone the next?
I was lucky. I missed Vietnam by about a year and a half. But I can remember a lot of kids ended up going in the military and they never came back. So, yeah.
But, you know, like in high school, you know, you
He's talking about, did you have a lot of military brat families that were coming to Fort Rucker that you would just know for 2 years and then they'd be gone?
And you develop a good friendship with them. Maybe they were your teammate, and then after 2 years they were gone.
Very few, Mike. Most of the military families lived in Enterprise and Daleville.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But now, you know, Ozark has good facilities. They've run their high school, a good-looking school, and I tell you, it's a beautiful town. It really is.
They've got a beautiful school now, but they didn't. I mean, it's been within the last 10 years they built that brand new school.
Yeah. Of course, Enterprise. It's hard. Let's just say if you're moving in there into Fort Rucker, it's hard to say, do you want to go to Ozark or do you want to go to Enterprise? Enterprise is, I don't know, I want to say $80 million school. They built an $80 million school.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several.
It's like a college.
Several faculty members from Troy have moved to Enterprise.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And of course, you know, Enterprise has that great school system, and they're awfully proud of it. I know that.
They also have our great sponsor, PS Paul Furniture.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, buddy. And he's out my buddy, and you know, they don't come any better than Andy.
Go see Andy down there.
Yeah, that's right.
What a great family. One of the
Andy Falk.
How did Joe Falk end up in Troy?
I'll tell you exactly. I know exactly how he did. He married into it. The law firm, Yule Orm. He married Yule Orm's daughter. No, excuse me. He didn't marry. He married his son. No, I know his sister did. His sister married into the Orm family, and then I don't know if I'm right or not. And then, you know, Paul.
Peggy and Joe are both Samson, I think.
That's right, and one of them I want to say is I know it's now. Joe Falk's brother married into Yule Orm's family, and he married Yule Orm's daughter, and then when Joe graduated from college, Mr. Orm gave him a chance to study law in Troy, and he did very well. And I had a long talk with my good friend Rusty Gibson yesterday, one of my prized friends, and of course a huge lawyer in Tuscaloosa, and a great friend. And you know, every time I see a Ziegler's wiener, I think of Rusty, because his wife is the chairman and CEO of the Ziegler's meat company. Yeah.
You tell Rusty that's my favorite bacon.
It is. You like Ziegler's bacon? Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. It's good. And
Rusty doing well?
Luke doing real well, and you know, he wanted to see how everybody in Troy was doing, and he loves Troy.
He owns a lot of property around the university, doesn't he?
Rusty, I don't know of any. He does.
I've always heard he owns a lot of property around the University of Alabama.
Oh, University of Alabama now. He sure does. He does do that, and his family is very well and very close to the Alabama connection, I'm sure. And you know, her daddy was Bear Bryant's best friend, and I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
that's right. Yeah.
When they
Well, you know, for years, Alabama only had brine hot dogs. Remember that?
yeah, that's right. Brian was big. You know, Brian was a Mississippi product. I want to say.
You know who another one of Coach Bryant's good friends was? Young Boozer, that was a teammate of his. He's in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right.
And his son became the treasurer of the state of Alabama. He's a real nice guy. I got to know him in Montgomery when I lived there. Young Boozer's son that was in politics.
Yeah, I remember.
He went to Stanford. He's a graduate of Stanford, a little young.
I want to say that Mayor Bryant's two favorite people or best friends on his staff was Sam Bailey and Carney Lassie.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love to hear him say Carney Lassie.
and his real confidant, and another one was
right.
Jim Goostree.
That's right. And those guys he kept around. He kept around because he knew that they weren't going to let him down. You know, they pretty much ran the athletic department. Sam Bailey was
Jim Goostree and my daddy were very good friends. They went to school together.
I know this. I know this about Goostree. He was a good golfer. Is that right?
Very good golfer, and his son played at Alabama. He was a great golfer.
Yeah. How about that? That's something.
You know, I was sitting here thinking, and some people might gonna call in and tell you to leave your thinking alone. But you know, Troy, I don't know if they've hired a coach yet in golf, but somebody mentioned Hunter Hamrick, and Hunter Hamrick would be a super pick for that job. Not only was he a great golfer and knows golf real well, is that he could raise a lot of money just from his pro friends. They would help him out, don't you think?
Yes. I think he would be outstanding.
Tell me who he could raise money from.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, man. It's good. Justin Thomas be number one.
Hey, Mike, if Troy would let me practice law and coach the golf team, I would guarantee you a national championship within 4 years.
Hey, the national.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we make that? We might be able to make that happen. I mean, you would be able.
You know how I would do it?
Recruit.
Yeah, but do you know where I would recruit?
All those.
You would go overseas and bring people over.
The future masters.
South Africa, and Sweden are the two places that you can get people to come over and play, and they're instant superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to come.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, there's no question in my mind.
I think you would be great. You know the game better than anybody. You got the personality and charisma and the contacts. Yeah, put your hat in the.
There is no question in my mind.
We got Troy Athletic Director Brent Jones calling in.
Well, I mean, can't you just open an office in Troy and keep your one open down there too?
Oh yeah, I could do that. Now, as far as I need a couple of plane tickets to go to South Africa.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine that works at Southeast Medical Center. He's from South Africa. He came here, played at Wallace College. Then he played at Troy. Very good player. His name was Tim Mitchell. And he knows everybody in South Africa.
Well,
4 or 5 players there, and 2 or 3 from Sweden, and instantly got a contender. Right?
You know, I have done a lot of stories on college tennis because I used to live in Montgomery and wrote stories about the Blue Gray National Tennis Classic. One thing I learned in writing my college tennis stories is 95% of the male tennis players in America do not come from America. They come from countries all over the globe.
Mike, who are some of Hunter Hamrick's friends?
Well, I mean, you got Justin Thomas.
Well, Judge Thomas would throw us a dime every now and then, wouldn't you think?
Bud Colley.
Hunter Hamrick's still playing, isn't he?
No, he's not.
You got Robbie Skelton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying, there are a lot of his teammates that played at Alabama that are doing well on the tour.
Bobby White, the guy that shot like 50-something when he was in high
That's
school.
right. Yeah. Are those guys doing well?
No, the only ones on the tour are Shelton's on the tour. Molinek was on the tour. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour, but I think he's already won, so I think he'll be back. Davis Riley's won twice on the Corn Ferry Tour. Alabama had about 4 or 5 guys in the pros at one time, but now they're kind of falling back a little bit.
Yeah.
Bud Colley, I remember him. He was a big star. He's still on the tour. I think.
Well, of course, they haven't hired anybody. I don't think.
Colley's never won a tournament though. He never won a PGA Tour event.
Who is that?
Bud Colley.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass, and of course we appreciate them so much. And they've got a lot full of new and used cars and trucks for you.
Will's probably joking about being the golf coach, but you think of people that have not been a coach that just got into it later in life, and Chase Riddle had not been a coach in forever. And did he have any problem when he became the baseball coach?
I don't believe he did. No, he didn't. And I'm getting excited about football. Will, are you going to buy your tickets, or what you going to do?
You know, I don't go to football games anymore since my kids graduated. I'm not. They're so good watching them on TV now. When they get to a championship game or semifinal, I'll go to one of those. Just run-of-the-mill games. I don't go anymore.
What is the? I was looking at.
You don't want to see Alabama play Mercer?
No.
Now, Will, your daddy was a cheerleader at Tennessee, a big Tennessee fan. But I take it you.
Head cheerleader.
But I take it you grew up an Alabama fan.
No, I grew up actually an Auburn fan.
Oh.
And my mother went to Auburn. Of course, my dad went to Tennessee. I got offers when I came out of high school. I had offers from 9 of the 10 schools in the SEC. The only one I didn't get was from Auburn, and that's where I wanted to go. And one of those deals.
Yeah.
But now you're an Alabama fan, right?
Right. I went to law school at Alabama and got to know Coach Bryant, and
Yeah, good.
they won 2 national championships while I was there.
Oh yeah, you played golf with Coach Bryant a lot, didn't you?
Many times, yeah. And people don't realize he was a big man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was probably 6'5", and his hands were huge.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
He was foreboding or intimidating.
He
He took a goalpost just to hold him up.
yeah.
And Michael, he was not a very good golfer when I first met him. But I told him, I said, look, your hands are huge. You need to get oversized grips. He know what I was talking about. I said, go in there and tell the pros to re-grip your clubs and wrap tape underneath the grips. And it was almost an immediate thing. He started hitting the ball better. Because he's a big man, I mean.
Yeah.
But he had a rule in the group. They chose up every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. And there'd be about 20 of them playing. And he had a rule. When he teed off, he hit off number 1 till he hit a good one.
Oh God! I tell you, this man has done everything.
Unlimited mulligans. He had unlimited mulligans.
Oh, did it?
It's hard to believe. You look at Saban 69, and Bryant was 69 when he died.
I know it.
I mean, look at those two guys health-wise. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. There's no question. I say this, and he's his own man. He carries himself well in public and all that, and he has a lot of friends. I'm sure he has a lot of friends, but it's an ego thing in a way. This Saban has a huge ego. I can't see that being any kind of way Bear Bryant was. I think he was very, very humble,
Bear smoked 3 or 4 packs of Chesterfield every day.
Yeah.
Bear drank at least a half a bottle of scotch every day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And Bear ate fried food
Yeah, that's right.
Saban is a health nut.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. I'm sure he eats great,
Yeah.
food. He exercises.
Little Debbie's aren't good for you.
Yeah.
Well,
He has one.
he's got to be in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he didn't have to pee. Now, and let me tell you, this is something about Saban. He didn't have to appease anybody.
No.
I wouldn't think he had a lot of close friends, but
I don't know who
but
would.
a lot of acquaintances, a lot of good acquaintances.
I think Bill Belichick might be a close friend, but yeah, you're right. I can't picture many people really getting close.
When we talk about him,
his wife is the best friend he needs.
Well, I can remember one assistant coach, and I made this stands for almost all of them at one time. At one time, was Saban was jumping on one coach pretty good one time, and he got up and left the conference room where they were having a meeting. And after the meeting, Saban said, "What are you doing? Leaving the room?" The guy said, "Well, if I stayed any longer, I'd be wanting to whip you."
I bet there's been a lot of people.
That's right. That's right. And that was a well-known coach too. That's at Auburn now, or used to be at Auburn. But that's where it works. That's where it works.
I think there have been a lot of coaches that thought that, and there have been a lot of players that thought that too. And it's actually surprising that it doesn't happen more often. Yeah. The one time I can remember it did happen almost was when Latrell Sprewell went off on his coach.
Yeah. Well, I can.
So PJ called this a mug.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is what comes to my mind is that ice cold night before they were going home for Christmas, and old Bob Gain, the All-American, he weighed about 255, 260 pounds. He'd been having trouble with Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant was he was in Coach Bryant's doghouse, and he told the guys in the athletic dorm, said, "I'm going to whip him." And no, the guys kept giving him a hard time.
Go ahead.
Get him on. He said, and then he said, "I'll show you. I'm going." So he walked up to Coach Bryant's house and knocked on the door. And Coach Bryant came to the door in that old swagger of his, like a John Wayne. He said, "Gain, what do you want?" He said, "Coach, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas." And turned around.
That's a great story. I think it happened.
That's a good story. If somebody was planning on whipping somebody and getting and then throwing Santa Claus in there. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
That's the thing about Coach. He didn't take care of himself, but up until he was probably in his mid-40s, I don't think there was any of his players that wanted to try him.
Yeah. And I tell you something else too. You talk about class and people, classy looking. And Saban looks classy and all that. But Coach Bryant really carried himself with class, and he was very humble,
And where does that come from, Michael? I mean, he couldn't have grown up any poorer than what he did. I mean, if you get Coach Bryant's backstory, I mean, you talk about abject poverty. It was him.
Exactly.
But it must be he came to the University of Alabama and he was exposed to it as a player and a student, but he believed in class. He talked about it all the time, and he wanted his players. He was tough on them, but he wanted them treated with class. Wherever he
Frank
could,
Thomas probably taught him a lot of stuff. The old coaches he had and so forth. And,
I mean, my dad can testify that it was nice that the players had the only air-conditioned dorm on campus. They had all the food they wanted. When they went somewhere, it was first class. They dressed well. He did want everything to be first class.
Charlie Bradshaw, who coached under him such a long time and then later on coached at Troy, you could not ever say he didn't have a lot of class. He was a very classy, sharp guy, And, he was a Bryant protege.
But it's these
then
people.
Coach Jordan over at Auburn, he was a very classy man, and very, very.
And these coaches, they were competed, but they all had respect for each other and were friends,
Do y'all want to take a break?
Yeah, we will. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers. Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care. You know how you all want healthcare to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free MyChart app,
Visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. You know, 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierTroy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal.
Nobody!
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers. Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care. You know how you all want healthcare to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free MyChart app,
Visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
A little weak deal or something.
Thanks to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Max Federal Credit Union, and located on the bypass in Troy. And I tell you, those guys are great. And I've done a lot of business with them over the years, and we appreciate them. Of course, also Premier Dodge Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, where they've got more used cars and trucks to choose from than they ever have. So they've really got a lot of vehicles on their lot.
It's impressive. I'm sorry, I spilt Mike's coffee during the commercial break, and so he's. I put it down on the newspaper, and it had a pin under it.
There was a pin underneath that, and he couldn't see it, and I couldn't see it, so that's where it worked. But old Nick Saban, old Nick Saban, won't you cry for me, 'cause I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
Well, isn't it fun to study people that are this excellent? And I'm fascinated by Saban. He talks about consistency. That's the word I hear him use more than anything. And you know, he's lived it. I mean, his teams are just, you couldn't be more consistently
You know, we're
great.
talking about class, you know, like Coach Bryant said, class, and give me those potato chips, and I'll open up those potato chips, and I'll make all that noise and get that potato chip and that Coca-Cola out there. But who are some other classy coach? Bud Wilkinson sure was.
Yeah,
You remember him?
Yep. You know, a lot of them are really. I think Bobby Bowden was really.
Oh, he
classy.
was a very classy guy, a very classy guy. And another guy was the former head coach at John McKay at Southern Cal, was a classy guy. And our old Arkansas
You
coach.
said Bud Wilkinson, didn't you?
Yeah, already.
Coach Bryant really looked up to and admired Bud Wilkinson.
Yeah.
I think he tried to emulate himself after people like that.
He was Bud Wilkinson was a great coach, and you know, he's known for all these winning streaks. You know, he won. I want to say he won 41 one year, and won 38
Might
one
be
year.
more than that, yeah.
At Oklahoma, but you know, back then, you know,
Coach Bryant at Kentucky ended one of those Oklahoma winning streaks.
You're exactly right, and I was at.
Michael, you know, I'm the
then.
only person in America that still says "not so fast, my friend" when everybody anoints Coach Saban as the greatest of all time. My question is, do you think Nick Saban could have won as much as Coach Bryant at Kentucky? I don't think so. And do you think that Coach Bryant, if he had gone to Michigan State like Saban did, you know, at the same age as Saban, don't you think that Coach Bryant would have won more at Michigan State than Saban did?
I don't know, but see, you know, back then Coach Bryant was winning with little old 190-pound lineman.
He could win with anybody. He didn't need. He didn't.
They call him Bryant's runts. They call him Bryant's runts.
When he won at Kentucky, was he winning with Kentucky kids from the state? I guess.
Well, you know, he would. I think in Kentucky they go to Ohio. And,
I don't think Babe Pirelli came from the Kentucky.
Yeah, some of them were, but you know, there's not a lot of football in. But the main thing is he is the only coach that won for an extended period of time at Kentucky, a basketball school.
Our great Arkansas. You know, Arkansas had that good program for a long time. They were
Frank
led by
Broyles.
what now?
Frank Broyles.
Frank Broyles, boy, he had class.
Shug Jordan was just he was a gentleman. Shug Jordan was a great gentleman.
And he was a good football coach too. And then you had I don't know whether
Vince Dooley was.
Vince ran a good show. Vince Dooley and
comported himself well.
Yeah, sure did. And it was easy when he had that great running back, you know, to back him up.
Speaking of class people, I like Fob James, and the recurring theme of my comments today has been Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Well, Fob James is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, two-time governor of Alabama.
Yeah.
But I read his little synopsis of his Auburn career. He was really, he deserves to be in the Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, man. You mean he's not in there?
He is in there.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
He was a 4-year starter and
great
just
player,
great stats.
Yeah, they sure were. And you know,
he played about the same time as Bobby Marlowe and was probably
Bobby
Marlowe
was
in there.
a little bit before him, I think, because
a little bit,
you know,
a couple years before.
He played for Coach who did
Red Drew.
Yeah, Red Drew. Harold Red Drew.
Harold Red Drew is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
And I think, I don't know if you know, you can bring them in from outside too. You know, they don't, as long as they have an Alabama connection.
Some of these connections are pretty tenuous. Like, you know, if they were born in Alabama and lived in Alabama for 2 days, they get to get in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Looking for that Zoom this morning. Looking for that Zoom brought to you by Noble Manor for
like Ozzie Smith is arguably the best defensive shortstop in baseball history.
Who
is that? Ozzie Smith.
He was born in Mobile.
Yeah, so he's in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Carl Lewis is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean, they didn't live in Alabama.
No,
I mean, I guess they did for a little while.
But you know, there's been some, you know, the great Ole Miss coach. He was a class.
Coach Vaught?
Yeah, he sure was. And
he had a great. People forget that he had a great program for a long time at Ole Miss.
And something very unusual, and it's hard for me to believe that Alabama didn't play Ole Miss for years.
Every year,
and all these Ole Miss teams. Of course, the Ole Miss team I remember that Vaught was the head coach. Johnny Vaught was head coach. Was when his Ole Miss Rebels were playing a game, and they played it on Thanksgiving night when Billy Cannon took a punt back 90 yards for a touchdown, and the LSU won that ball game. LSU won the national championship that year with what they call the great defense. You know what I'm talking about?
Don't ask me these questions.
That's one of the best college movies of all time. Everybody's on.
Yeah, that's right. And then the next time they played them in the Sugar Bowl, and Ole Miss just beat the devil out of them. But they'd already given the national championship.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's the rest of the story. So.
That's right.
That was
They
one of those deals.
I think that's one of the dumbest rules ever, that you declared the national championship before the bowl game. I don't understand. Why would you?
I'll tell you that.
Some say the bowl game was an exhibition game.
That was the way they looked at it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: our Charles Simpson High School team, as I was a member of, we won the South Alabama Conference Championship. And people like Harry Baker and Lewis Corley and John Teal and Russell Gibson and all those folks got up a bunch of money to send us to the Orange Bowl as a tribute to our reward to our team.
That was nice.
And when we got down there, you know, of course, we got in a fight the night before with a bunch of home folks because one of our guys went off with one of their guys, and we had to barricade our rooms almost.
Went off with one of their girls?
Yeah, that's right. And, I could give you that boy's name. I'm not going to do it, but the next day we saw Texas and Alabama play, and Joe Namath was coming off of an injury. And Texas scored 2 touchdowns quickly in that game, and they led all the way down to the last
Alabama
quarter,
always comes back.
Last with a 1 foot to go, and Namath tried the quarterback sneak, and they didn't make it. They said, you know, Texas had Tommy Novus, a great linebacker. They said Novus stopped Namath, and they walked out of the building. And it just drove me nuts. Hook 'em horns, you know. I've been working on a railroad, you know. It was their fight song, you know, Hook 'em horns. Well, they gave Alabama the national championship that year because they voted on them before the Orange Bowl.
That's right.
And or Texas would have won it. But that's how Alabama won that national championship.
It was coming. I mean, it was considered an exhibition, and you know, and they wanted the national champion to be based on the regular season. Alabama has lost a lot to Texas, but if you look at the scores, every one of those games Alabama lost to Texas, Alabama could have won. I mean, they were all like that one. They were all just close.
One of them was a 3-3 tie. Remember?
They didn't. The only time they didn't lose
in the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
My dad played and had the big play.
Yeah, you did. Went 55 or 60 yards, and you know, and he got run down by one of their scat backs that was back there. But you know, your daddy could run. Now he outran him for 55, 56 yards, and Bobby.
I finally saw the tape of that. You know, I'd heard about that play because Dad didn't catch many passes, but. And I've always heard they got run. He did get run down, but you know the guy. It was a safety, and he had an angle on that the whole time.
If they're great quarterback, then safety was Street, and he caught him. But Alabama still could not put it in. They were inside the 10-yard line,
they couldn't score. They got stopped on the goal line there.
You know, Street's son ended up being a great closer in Major League Baseball.
Really? I didn't know that. That's good trivia there. You're right. And
Texas had a great team that year, and that was the year before Alabama's national championship team. Alabama had a great team, and they tied, and then they were both really, really good the next year. Alabama ran the table the next year.
And he was another class act, Darrell Royal, and now the rest of the story. You know, the next few years, Alabama went to the wishbone, and that's who Bryant got the wishbone from, was Darrell Royal. But Darrell Royal was not the founder. There was another guy that was told that he was the father of the wishbone offense, and he later on was the head football coach at Mississippi State.
That's right.
And now I'm trying to come up with
his name. His name is Emory Ballard.
Emory Ballard, you're exactly right. Rice is smart, I tell you.
Well, Michael knew it, I'm sure.
Darrell Royal was at Mississippi State for a little while, too.
That's right.
That was years before that.
Yeah, but not many people would know that. He started at Mississippi State, didn't he?
I didn't realize that. But he and Bryant were good friends. And
you know, I always feel bad about, you know, we're talking about Bryant and we're talking about Saban, of course, at Alabama, but I always feel bad for Stallings. You know, if it wasn't for Florida a couple of times, Stallings could have had another national championship. And then if he wouldn't have hated the athletic director, Bachroft, so much,
yeah, I know, yeah.
He probably would have coached another 5 years. He retired.
Yeah. You wouldn't have ever heard of Saban, probably.
Yeah.
I think Stallings could have won another national championship for sure.
I appreciate you saying that, Michael, because he doesn't get enough credit. If he had an 80% winning record, and after he lost those first 3 games his first year, he went on a run, buddy, and and Alabama won the national championship in '92. But people forget 2 years later, Alabama was undefeated, untied, playing Florida in the SEC championship game, and lost a great game that Alabama could have easily won, or else that team could have won the national championship.
Let me just say this: Gene Starling's. If you had to describe what hard nose was all about, you would have Gene Starling's picture next to somebody in the dictionary, because he was a hard nosed guy, and he was a classy guy. And he knew how to. He tried to run his programs like Coach Bryant, with class and all that, but. Let me tell you, that was a mean mother right there, buddy, Gene Starlins.
Yeah, you look at DeBose getting the job. A lot of people don't realize. Of course, you're a big Alabama fan. You realize that DeBose was only defense coordinator for 1 year.
You're right. Yeah.
And he got promoted all the way to head coach, and that still is a baffling.
Right.
Hire, in my opinion. No disrespect to Mike DeBose. I like Mike DeBose.
And let me tell you this: anybody that says Mike DeBose, that's right, he could coach.
That job after Stallings decided to retire. I can't remember who the athletic director was. I guess it was Baccarat.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's an example
that was not the smartest hire.
Well, it's an example of don't listen to the crowd and the masses, because all the Alabama people wanted Dubose. They tore up the fax machines, hire Mike Dubose, and he was in over his head from the beginning.
But the thing about it, he went 10-1 1 year.
That's right.
So he
went 10-3, but the year they went 10-3, he lost Louisiana Tech at home.
Yeah.
He had a player named Cornelius Griffin.
Yeah.
He had a player named Sean Alexander, and you had a player that big Chris Samuels, the offensive tackle.
He also had one of the best wide receiver skill guys ever, Freddie Miller.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, you're right.
And they lost to Tom Brady in Michigan in the Orange Bowl when they had about
that game
25 penalties.
Oh, that ball game, and of course Alabama missed extra point.
That was the first time you ever had a guy sit out a bowl game for the draft, and they claimed Samuels had an injury, and he sat out and did play in that game. The great All-American offensive tackle, and it was a huge difference.
And
You're right.
He and my buddy.
Chris Samuels doesn't sit out that game. Alabama wins that game easily. You're right.
You know who handled his money was Chris Cole who had strong roots at Troy, Alabama.
There's a great picture of Chris Cole, Robert Cole's son, and DeMarcus Ware the other night at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame banquet.
I wish I could have.
Chris is a great guy.
Yeah, no question about it. And Ware is a great guy too. We're just so fortunate to have him.
Is DeMarcus in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame?
Huh?
Did he get inducted?
That's where Mike Amos was.
Yeah, he got inducted this last time. Ware got inducted in the Hall of Fame, didn't he? Right?
Yeah, Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Troy has got. If we can get Don Maestri in, but I was looking. Billy Atkins is in there.
Yeah. We've got
Chase Riddle is in there. Sim Bird is in there. Larry Blakeney.
Yeah, that's right.
Chan Gailey, Larry Blakeney.
Mm-hmm.
Is Blakeney? Wait a minute. Is
Blakeney's in there?
No, is Chan Gailey? Is he in there?
Yeah, Chan Gailey went about 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I used to go to one of those banquets.
I talked to Horsted and him and Freddie Thomas. A lot of those former players when he got inducted.
Yeah. Of course, very, very.
Billy Atkins was he was the most valuable player on Auburn's 1957 national championship team. And then didn't Peggy Scarborough's brother was the center on that team?
Yeah, that's right. Bob Scarborough.
You know, Billy Atkins' son, Ace Atkins, is a big writer.
Peggy Cox.
Mississippi has wrote several books.
Yeah, that's right. He is, and
he writes a lot of crime novels.
Yeah.
Who is that writes a lot of crime novels?
Ace Atkins is a great author that lives in Oxford, Mississippi. That's Billy Atkins' son.
Oh yeah, cool.
You remember Anthony Bourdain that did the CNN show all the time? When he went to Oxford, he was on that show when he was interviewing different authors from Oxford.
Okay. Yeah.
I bought a
Grisham was on the show too.
I bought a Grisham book. I'm a big fan of Grisham's, but his latest book is not about a lawyer. It's about a basketball player. He was apparently a basketball player growing up, and it's got a basketball theme. It's on my desktop waiting to be read. It's his new novel.
We want to jump out of here just a moment. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Your coffee's over here. I got you another cup.
Don't worry about it.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierTroy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody!
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're gonna want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
but because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
Refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care. You know how you all want health care to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
You gotta realize the ribeyes have fat in it.
All right, we're back on
Back
there.
to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Express Oil Change on the bypass. I want to say hello to Chris Noneman and all those folks. They've been with us all through our history of our show.
Great Troy family, the Anonymous.
And Little Caesar, listen, if there's a better pizza anywhere, especially for the money, Little Caesar is the way you need to go. And Health Actions, that's the people I use and for my rehab, and I appreciate them very much. And A1 Services, Terry Moats, the son of the great Boy Moats.
The great Terry Moats.
And the great Terry Moats, and I appreciate them so much.
He will take care. If you got an emergency, if you got a heating or cooling emergency, Terry will come to your rescue.
He sure will. He's done it for me many times. And of course,
Katie Britt's officially announced she's running for the Alabama Senate seat of Richard Shelby, who she used to work for. Britt, an Enterprise native.
Who is he?
Extremely young to be running for senator.
I've never heard of this guy.
She is the anointed one. That's what Will told us. That's who Shelby wants.
Yeah. But I've never heard him.
And she's apparently married to somebody that's really, really wealthy, and so funding.
It's a she. Excuse me. It's a she.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie Britt, an Enterprise.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So funding the campaign will not be an issue.
If she's pretty, she's got a chance. A lot of folks they vote for people that are pretty, like Jerry Beasley, and people like that.
Jerry Beasley got beat, but it's the best thing that ever happened to him.
Sure did. Oh yeah, by far the best thing.
This explains she's married to Wesley Britt, the all SEC lineman at Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. He's from Enterprise, isn't he?
Wesley
Britt.
Is. All the Britts were from Coleman.
Oh, from Coleman.
There were several Britts.
I remember them. Yeah, exactly.
In Alabama.
She is married to Wesley Britt.
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I don't know. That might be different because I thought she was. Is Wesley Britt a multimillionaire? My intelligence might be wrong on. Maybe her family has a lot of money.
Boy, Coleman has produced a lot of players at Alabama. I know that. One of them was Trammell,
Pat Trammell.
No, not Trammell.
He was
but,
from Scottsboro, wasn't he?
Not Pat Trammell, but for.
He's in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Exactly right. He deserves it too. No question about it.
I would say she has to be around 35, 36. She looks extremely young.
That'll be interesting to watch.
Don't you have to be a certain age to be a senator?
I don't know.
You have to be a certain age.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's an age.
Yeah.
I think it's about 35.
But I've never even heard of her in politics at all. At least around here, we haven't.
She worked for Shelby for several years.
Okay.
Wasn't she the leader of the Business Council of Alabama, which is the big business lobbying group in Alabama? So all the movers and shakers know about the BCA.
She was the chief of staff for Shelby before taking the leadership post of what you're talking about, the BCA in 2019.
But that's not long. She's only been there for 2 years. Shelby's a nice guy. You know, he's from Tuscaloosa. He was good friends with my aunt and uncle, Aunt Carolyn and Bobby Rice, and my cousin Caroline that lives in California that went to Wake Forest. She worked for him 1 year. For one of the committees he chaired, and she really speaks highly of Senator Shelby.
I could have talked to Rusty about him. You know, Rusty
would
being
know him
an
well.
attorney there. Well, he knows. Yeah, would know Shelby and probably have been to many. You know, what Shelby was known for is that he always remembered his constituents. I mean, he would go to every county at least once a year or twice a year. You know, to just show his face. You know that. You know, hey, here it is. I'm here to help. You know?
At Julia's is where he would come.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah. And he was a classy guy. You're right. He did a good job. And boy, we'll never have the prestige in Congress like we do now. You know.
He's a powerful person. I mean, he has brought back the pork to Alabama. If you go to Alabama or Auburn or Troy, and look at all those buildings that have gone up everywhere.
And you would
a lot
think
of them come from money that Richard Shelby got.
And I'll tell you this, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You know, he never seemed to take advantage of the football success of Alabama. I've never heard his name mentioned at an Alabama game. You know, would Shelby please stand up, you know, and get the applause. He never looked for that. He got it on his own, you know. And was there for a long time, no question about it.
I'll tell you a backstory. I can't remember the family, but it was my uncle's best friend, and Uncle Bobby. You know Bobby Rice.
Yeah.
It was director of athletic facilities at Alabama for a long time. His son, my uncle's son's best friend, worked for Senator Shelby. And he was in Washington, D.C. He was coming home one night, and he was murdered in District of Columbia, which is some rough areas. And somebody...
I remember that.
This was about 15, 20 years ago. Just devastated, you know, the family. Well, they didn't solve the crime and find the murderers. But from what I've heard is Senator Shelby never let go. I mean, he was constantly on the District of Columbia Police. Find this person, find this person, find this person. This is not going to be an unsolved murder. And they eventually got somebody and arrested who did it. But somebody was working for Senator Shelby was just walking home one night and somebody robbed him and shot him in the head, killed him. I mean, probably a 27-year-old kid that was, you know, grew up in my uncle and aunt's house.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Of course, you know, one of the most powerful men in government, or the most powerful Alabamian to ever serve a seat in Congress. You know.
Well, you know, you talk about how
he was Democrat and became Republican, wasn't he?
Yeah, he switched over when everybody switched over to Republican.
Yeah. Hey, so.
But Shelby is probably 84, 5. You talk about Nick Saban, 69.
I thought he was older than that, even, you know.
So can Saban coach to 76? Well, you know, Richard Shelby's been a senator until he was 86.
Listen, Nick Saban can coach until he dies. I guarantee you, he's got a job forever, and maybe by the time he finishes up, he'll be making $20 million a year. You reckon?
Richard Shelby's 87.
That's right.
His net worth is $20 million, and he's 6'4".
Wait a minute. Why should he? Listen, this guy's a politician. Why should he have all that money?
Yeah,
You
that's
reckon?
all, they're all that like that.
This is what Wikipedia says.
What do they call how they get money from campaigning? What do they call that money?
I don't know. But,
The war chest?
Yeah, war chest. Boy, you're smart.
all these senators, they're all 80 and older, it seems like, and they're all multimillionaires.
But all of them have war chests, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've all been in politics their whole life. So you wonder, how did you accumulate these $20 million? But somehow
that's right.
Thank goodness he wised up and decided to retire. He was 87.
Yeah, I'm sure people ask him all the time and said, hey.
87 is still in the Senate.
What did you do to make a living? I represent the state of Alabama, and then he
well,
said,
you look, how old is President Biden? 76.
He's 79, I think.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's old. Warren Buffett's one of the richest men in the world. I think he's about getting close to 90.
Shelby.
Rupert Murdoch, the Fox News media tycoon, he's probably close to 90. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, and they tell you how they do it all the time, and nobody sits back and listens. Somebody said that Murdoch he sees the stock and he'll buy it, and nobody else has ever even heard of the stock, and that type of thing.
Or Buffett.
Buffett too.
Buffett still lives in.
Joe Biden's 78. He'll be 79 in November.
Yeah. That's right.
78. I mean, that's the life expectancy of an American is 78. So
he went to the University of Delaware and then Syracuse University.
Yeah. Again, we want to compliment our young people that graduated, and we want to wish them a lot of luck in their future endeavors, and hope a lot of you will turn toward Troy University for your education, and of course
Alabama's most beautiful campus.
No question about it, and we appreciate them so much, and we appreciate you for watching our show. Of course, it's brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. And Jason, again, thank you for your contribution to the Pike Liberal Arts Playground Fund. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A. Have a good one.